Welcome to the Washdown podcast, episode number 54. Tonight we are talking with police officer Tyler Moss. Tyler was involved in an officer-involved shooting and was actually shot in the head. And tonight we're going to talk to him about his recovery and his viewpoints and how he's doing now and the things he's doing going forward. He's got a great story. It's a great conversation. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Like it and leave a comment. So without further ado, here's the Washdown podcast, episode number 54, with guest Tyler Moss. Is you set people up for success. So you give them all of the information and then let them succeed.
Well, since only one of us in this room is an officer in the positions that we're in, you failed.
How did I fail?
You're the leader here.
You took the initiative to book the guest, and you were super excited about it, and then you just dropped the ball.
No, I didn't. God did.
Yeah, you did.
I forgot to put it in my own calendar, too. I've been busy.
This is his excuse all the time, is he's super busy. You know how you get less busy? Stop. That's all you got to do.
My OnlyFans account is really taking off. I don't know what you want me to do.
Oh, well, I guess that's not a terrible thing. I mean, you can't work overtime forever, so.
That's true. Well, you want to hear a funny story?
Not really, because your funny stories are usually involve editing.
No. Well, I mean, we're not going to record this, but.
It's recording right now.
Oh, shit. Never mind.
No funny stories.
I'll tell you afterwards.
Okay, tell me afterwards. Hey, Tyler, thanks for coming on the show.
Oh, yeah, no problem. No problem.
Yeah, we usually start out with somewhere between 5 minutes and 45 minutes of just
Pick on me or pick on Nelson.
inane, dumbass conversation, and then spend like 6 minutes and 30 seconds on actually what we're supposed to be talking about. So
Right.
We're professionals.
Yeah.
I can tell.
Tens of viewers.
So many singles of viewers.
Yeah. I couldn't think
It's
of
like
any.
a fat stripper at the end of her first show.
Hence your OnlyFans account.
Well, welcome.
Oh, yeah, no problem. I'm glad to be here.
How are you?
I'm good.
I'm just excited to see you again. It's been
a long time.
a long ass time.
And I can tell you what he's thinking right now. It hasn't been long enough.
True.
Ooh.
That's fair.
All right, I got you.
All right, Tyler, so why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and why you are here?
Well, I'm 27 years old. I'm a police officer, and last year, July 2nd of 2020, I was shot in the head and been dealing with a lot of mental and physical stuff going on with me, and I'm here to talk about that, and hopefully I can, help some people going through similar things, and just to be able to hear my story and I guess inspire people, and that's kind of the reason why I'm here. So
Awesome. Walk me through, before you ever even got in the police department, what brought you into this career?
that's a very good question. So
I don't know what the hell I was thinking.
So I was in Seattle, Washington for work. I was doing some telecommunication stuff working for a guy that works for my dad. And up there I was seeing all the riots and everything. This was the 2016 election. And, I was seeing law enforcement, police officers getting shot and killed. For some reason that drew me to the profession. I don't know why, but it did. And right when I got back to Kansas City, I applied for the PD and got hired, and have been on really ever since. So
It's awesome.
yeah.
So how long have you been on now? What, 4 or 5 years?
Nah, about let's see, I think 3.5 years. Yeah.
Okay. So one of the reasons, obviously you and I have ran a lot of calls before, and you were always a good friend well before this, but kind of walk us through, like, really the day that has changed your career, the rest of your life.
All right.
So it doesn't even seem that long ago.
Nah, it really wasn't. It's almost been a year and a half. So July 2nd of 2020, woke up. I don't remember the incident, but from what I was told, I woke up I probably went to the gym like I did every day. Got to work early, changed out, went into work. Actually, another police officer for our department got shot the same day. I remember texting my mom about it. Thank God he's back at work full time. And, was talking to her about it, and this is something that we have to deal with every day, and it's a possibility, but, we still go out there and do it. And the call that my partner and I went to was a party armed with a gun, waving it at McDonald's, and as we started showing up, the suspect began shooting at us and took off running, and we let everyone else know in the city what he was doing. And we chased after him like any other police officer would. And he went into an industrial area and came around a corner and started shooting at us again, and struck me just to the right of my right eye. And I fell, landed on my face. Another officer stood over me, engaged the suspect, killed him, and then I was rushed to Truman Medical Center via a police car. And I've been in and out of rehab for about almost a year and a half. So...
Outside of not doing your normal in a car on the streets, what is your daily life like now?
Now I'm back at the police academy. I work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at headquarters, and Thursday I'm back at the academy, and then Fridays are my day off. So today was my day off, thankfully.
Nice. What's kind of been the support like you've seen just from around the city around your coworkers?
That's a good question. Very supportive. Everyone's excited to see me whenever I come back to the station or anywhere at work. It's nice to see people, nice to interact with people. I think the biggest thing that, I've been dealing with has been the mental health part of it, the emotional side of things. But, when I'm around people that like, for instance, my partner and friends and close people that I'm close with, it helps out a lot, just dealing with that stress and everything else. So it's been good. Everyone's been very supportive. The city's been supportive and everything else, so I really enjoy it.
What do you like for what happened to you? By all accounts, you shouldn't be here.
Yeah.
And how do you, when you talk to new officers or people that are even considering this job, how do you still look them in the eyes and tell them it's a great job?
That's hard. I could be lying to them, but I truly do believe it is the best job in the world. And, it's a tough time coming into this profession, but it's actually can be a really good time because we're needing people to step up and answer that calling and go out every day and serve their community like I did and other police officers still do. And, I'm not lying to them when I say it is the best job in the world, obviously, because I'm trying to get back, not to the streets, but getting back to the PD in some capacity if that's what God has in store for me. If not, then I know there's a bigger calling for me. And, I'm just really just feel like I'm just put on this earth by God to help people and inspire people and, and everything else. So
what, do you sleep? Are you always looking over your shoulder now? Like, what's it?
No, I don't, thank God I don't remember anything that happened that day. I sleep good. Besides, when I stay up late and have too much caffeine or something, I can't sleep. But other than that, I sleep really good. I wasn't ever able to sleep in before. Now I can sleep in a little bit. I'm usually a morning person. I get up super early, but lately I've been sleeping in because I've been working a lot more than I was before. And I sleep good. I have no problem doing that.
It's just. I remember the day like it was yesterday because I was at work that day and we had taken a patient to Truman basically kind of at the same time you were getting there, and it just it was rough.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Because there's that group of us that all kind of that 3 to 5 year range. All of us kind of came on together, and we were all new, and we were all just kind of blubbering idiots around in uniforms, and
Oh yeah.
we're just all close, and that was a hard day.
Yeah. I can only imagine.
Yeah, I find it, excuse me, I find it interesting, probably not surprising, though, that you can't remember anything from the day.
Yeah.
'Cause the brain is a funny thing, and
Yeah.
that type of trauma, I mean, I'm sure you're seeing a therapist or a psychiatrist or
yeah.
someone like that.
Yeah.
Have you talked about that with them at all, about like why that could be like?
So, I have talked to our department psychologist, and she's awesome. She pretty much said, it's probably not going to come back. There's a possibility that it will, but in my eyes, it's a saving grace for me, because
So do you even want it to?
no, if I did remember that, I'd probably have to medically retire on the spot, because I probably could not go through that. So, she told me it's a possibility, but as of now, it hasn't come back, and I'm thankful for that. And I think it's God's way of blinding that out from me and not overwhelming me at the time. So I'm really thankful for all that.
Yeah, the brain is a funny thing, man. The things the way the defense mechanisms, that can shield you and compartmentalize things,
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's the bad side of that too, where
Yep.
it comes out later, and it's like
Nothing
what
whiskey can't bring out.
Yeah. We don't have to talk about that.
Something I'm curious, kind of on a daily basis, our police department, some could say is or isn't supported by the city. Nationally, it's pretty evident that law enforcement always has been taking a pretty good whipping lately.
Yeah.
When you see that, and you look at last year just in our city, the riots,
Oh yeah.
and you see all that, and you see just the hatred, and then the injury you take trying to protect the city. What just kind of moral conundrum does that put you in?
It's tough. It's kind of hard seeing, I guess, everything that's been going on in the city, and for the most part, we are very well supported. But the loudest people are the ones that are getting the attention for us, for saying, "Oh, defund the police and everything else." There's always going to be those people that do that, but my thing is who are they going to call when something happens? They're not going to call the Ghostbusters. I can tell you that. They're going to call the fire department. They're going to call the police department. And no matter what, we have to show up, whether the citizens don't like us or they do like us. We're still going to have to show up and treat everyone the same, and go to the call, and not treat anyone differently like anyone else would. So no matter what, we have to show up. So
Yeah, my wife and I were talking about this the other day, about just the kind of misconceptions and the knowledge gap that people have whenever it comes to what police and fire and EMS actually do.
oh yeah.
What do we actually do, and what are we responsible for and not responsible for, and who does what, and what is the actual job. And I think, and we've kind of had this conversation a bunch of how Hollywood has kind of done a big disservice.
Yeah, that's
But,
true.
People will watch a TV show and they think, okay, well, that's what being a policeman is about, or that's what being a firefighter is about. Well, maybe a little bit in, like 1%, but then 99% of it is just Hollywood to make it an interesting TV show.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I would say, like on Cops, for instance, the TV show, they're going to show the craziest stuff because that's how they get views and everything else. But I'd say 90% of the calls we go on are nothing like what you see in movies or anything else. Most of the time, it's just helping people out and talking to people. And, when we get called, it's someone's worst day. But, we still got to show up and treat everyone like the same, like I mentioned earlier. And in all reality, it doesn't matter. So,
yeah. Well, and that is the thing. People don't see us on their best day.
yeah.
It's always the worst day.
Oh, yeah.
Whether it's they've been robbed or shot at,
Yeah.
or, they're having a heart attack, or they fell off a 2-story roof or whatever. Yeah. It's not a great day when the fire department and the police department are showing up to places.
That is true.
So, and I don't know. I think that kind of skews public perception a little bit. And,
I'm just as guilty. I watch like Chicago Fire, and I'm like, this is so stupid. But then, like, I watched Chicago PD. I was like, "This is awesome! This is the coolest thing ever."
Yeah, it's just those few.
Because I don't know.
It's those few things that you see that are the craziest things that are the most fun things. You know, like police chases and foot chases and stuff like that. Sometimes it happens a lot. Sometimes it doesn't. You know, I've been in spurts where, you know, I'll get in a couple foot chases a night, and then I won't have one for a week or so. But you know, those are the fun parts of the job. But most of the part is just helping people out, taking reports, responding to the calls, and really just doing everything.
Blocking traffic for us heroes. Yeah, we get it.
Really do anything the city needs us to do. I mean, that's all. I mean, we're at the mercy of the city. So, you know, we do what people call us to
Paperwork.
Glorified cleanup crews. That's what we are.
Yeah.
Lots of paperwork. So we have to document everything. I mean, ever since I've been hurt, I've gotten to see a whole other side of the police department, just kind of what goes on behind the scenes. And there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that people have no idea about. The people that do it, I mean, everyone's got a good job. Everyone's got a job. The janitors that clean up after us, the staff at the police academy, what they do, what they go through, you know, how they train recruits is absolutely insane. There's a step-by-step process they go through. I mean, it's crazy. I've seen kind of the backbone of the whole police department. You know, I had to go through what I went through to be able to see that, but it's a good experience. I'm trying to take it for what it's worth as long as I can, be able to see that.
Well, you're getting that wider view now.
Oh, yeah.
Because before, and we kind of talked about this a little bit on a past episode, you know, as a firefighter or a patrol officer or whatever, you get to see this much of what's going on. Yeah. And then as you move up the ranks, you get to see more and more and more.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, it sucks what happened to you, but you're in a position now. I'm pulling a Rachel.
Jesus, Rachel.
Smacking that thing. You're in a position now where you're still young in your career, but you're being able to see that wider picture. Yeah. It's only going to help you going forward.
Oh, yeah. And, if that is what, God calls me to do is come back to the police department, great. But if not, then like I mentioned earlier, there's a bigger calling for me, and God has a bigger calling for me. And I know no matter what I do, I'll be successful at it because I'm a hard worker, and I think everyone that knows me, even before I got hurt, knew I was a hard worker and work well with people. And, that's kind of what I just want my legacy to be, is to people to see me to be
Let's move it just a
hard
bit.
worker.
There
so,
you go.
I mean, that's all I want.
What, realistically, what does your career path look like now? Medically, with everything going on, like what are your options?
That's a good question. So I'm trying to figure out what I need to do to actually get back to work. They haven't really, I don't think they know, because I don't think they've dealt with a situation like mine, for instance. So they're like,
you mean it's not an everyday common occurrence?
No, it's not. Thankfully it's not. So, I've been asking people, hey, what do I need to do to get back? If there's like a test or something like that, I want to be able to know that so I can study for it. Not so I can cheat or anything, but so I can study. But hey, this is what I need to do to get back, so I can show people what I did or what I need to do. But I don't think they know what I need to do yet. It's kind of, they're just learning on the fly based on what I've been told. So I hope, I know in the future they'll let me know. There's going to come to a point where they're going to be like, hey, either you can do it or you can't do it anymore. But I want to know what I have to do to get back. Physically,
any limitations still?
Physically is probably the easiest part of it, which is crazy. You would think it wouldn't be, but my left hand weakness and kind of just my left side, the right side of your brain affects your left side of your body. So just dealing with a little weakness and coordination with my left hand and stuff like that. It's getting better with therapy and stuff like that, but it's still challenging to this day. And I think people see me for the whole person that I am, and they think I'm doing really good because they see my outside, but I got a lot of stuff going on in my mind, and my mind runs 100 miles an hour just like my body most of the time. So,
elaborate on it. Like what? Obviously, you shouldn't be here.
Yeah.
But you're not just here. You're here.
Oh yeah.
Physically.
Yeah.
You walk down the stairs to here just like any normal person would.
Oh yeah.
But also too, like you kind of talked about, luckily you don't have the memory of that, but still, like mentally, what do you go through every day?
So, that's a really good question. When I first went I got flown out to Denver for rehab, and I'd have psychologists come up to me and be, hey, they would talk to my mom, hey, he might be really angry, blah, blah. And she'd be like, I don't see that. He's not angry at all. So, I didn't deal with that until probably the last couple months when I've been going through a lot of, stuff behind the scenes with, relationships and trying to get back to work and stuff like that with, friends and other people and stuff like that. So that was just putting a whole emotional toll on me. And right now I'm focusing on myself and trying to get back to work, and I needed that to get back to work. I needed to just kind of, be selfish for once. I feel like everyone needs to be selfish, but that's the hardest thing to do, especially for me, because I like helping people out and trying to stick things out. When, the going gets tough, I like to stay in it and keep pushing through. Even like today, a couple Tuesdays ago, I had another seizure, and I went to Truman Medical Center, and it sucked. It was a 6-month setback, but it's about all the stuff I've been able to do, not all the stuff I'm not as good at now. And actually today, I went back to the same gym that I had my seizure at, and I finished my workout out, or finished that same workout, because I was like, you know what, I'm going to go back and finish what I started. So, I really wanted to do that and just show people that I can, get out there and keep doing it, keep pushing along.
One of the, I guess, best and worst things about firefighters, nurses, cops is that is our identity, our sense of self-value. Our worth is helping others.
Oh, yeah.
If that is taken away from you, are you in a spot to be able to handle that?
Yeah, I've already prepared my mind to kind of deal with that. Thank God I went to school and got my degree, and I'm sure if they said I couldn't come back to work full time, either they would find something for me on the department if I wanted to do that, or I'm sure that someone else would offer me a job doing something else. So I'm not really too worried about finding another job or doing anything else, because I know I have a calling, and I know I have a just kind of me being as a person, I know I'm destined to help people out no matter what I do, whether it's being, going doing motivational speaking or something like that. That's kind of what I'm trying to do eventually, to put my name out there and everything else. So I know there's a bigger calling for me. God has a purpose for me. I didn't get saved for no reason. I know there's a reason why I was saved. And, like you said earlier, it's just crazy that I'm even here, be able to come and do this. I'm very thankful for that.
I was, when I found out I remember who your surgeon was. He's one of my favorite people there at Truman. It's one of the kindest, because, a lot of, cardiac guys and trauma guys are just like, I'm the shit, fuck off, and he's just always.
So they're like paramedics.
Kind of. But no, he's just always been super kind, and when I found out he was a surgeon, it was nice. Have you kept in contact with him afterwards?
Yeah, a little bit.
He's one of the coolest.
Yeah.
I'm still just kind of in shock just to have you sitting here.
Oh, yeah. It's awesome.
But how did, so part of your rehab in Colorado, there was obviously the physical aspect. Was there as much of a mental aspect? Was it kind of equal, or was one more?
No, most of it was physical, because I was still in a wheelchair. I was in a wheelchair when I got to Denver. I had to relearn how to do everything, relearn how to do everything that people take for granted that they've been doing for, that I was doing for 26 plus years, walk, talk. I wasn't talking much when I went out there, to eat, to put my clothes on, to take in a shower, to brush my teeth. Literally I could go down the list and it'd be an hour long. It sucked. Life sucks. I'm not going to lie. Life does suck, but, it's crazy, where life takes you, and just through the ups and downs and things and just kind of the people that God puts in your life, and, they're there for a reason. It's not a surprise that I met you and your friend and everything else, and, that we're able to come here and talk today. There's a purpose for it.
He's not my friend.
Okay, well,
yeah.
Coworker, or whatever it is. Okay.
Yep.
So, it's not a mistake that I'm here talking to both you guys. So, there was a purpose for this, and I'm excited to see what that's going to be.
We had your old major on.
Oh, yeah. The governor.
We've had him on a couple times, and he's actually, I'd have him on every episode if I could. I love him.
Oh, yeah. So do I. He's like a second dad to me.
And it was, one of the hardest things. So his brother works on the job as well.
Yeah.
They were probably two of our best guests so far, just because the perspective on a lot of things. His brother was a fire captain, has fought cancer.
Oh yeah.
Had his daughter die as an infant.
Yeah.
And it was interesting, talking about Doug's perspective of everything Darren went through. But then it was just as equally interesting. I remember he was talking about when you got shot.
Oh yeah.
And just him talking about running down the driveway and crying the whole way to the hospital, and then just flipping a switch when he got there.
Yeah.
And it was interesting because we were doing some episodes on leadership, and it's been interesting having cops on the show and just kind of hearing the line the line version of it, the front line version, and just some of the emotions and anger and happiness and everything they go through. And he goes through it too.
Oh yeah.
He just has to put on a different face.
He's human, just like everyone else is, and he's a leader, and he still is to this day. And I know it affected him, but like I said, he's like a second dad to me, and I look up to him, and I know it's funny because if I don't talk to him for a couple weeks, he'll randomly call me, just like he did, like maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. He's like, yeah, I used to have a friend that that has this number. I haven't heard from him in a while. I said, oh yeah, sorry about that. I'm busy. But I mean, just stuff like that.
He's quietly throwing shade.
Yeah. I mean, he checks up on me just like our chief does and everything else. So it's nice to see that people still, I guess, care and look up to me and stuff like that. So he's an amazing guy. He's going to do great things in his life, and he's just like a normal person, just like everyone else, just like the chief is. He's he's got kids and emotions and everything else. It affects him, and I think some people see him, and obviously I'm not gonna get into that, but some people think he's fake or whatever it might be, but he's a true really good person. I know him on a personal level, and I thank God that he's able to be in my life.
The sense we got from having him here, like we met him through his brother, and
yeah,
I've kind of maintained communication with him every once in a while. He's just a great dude, and you want to hold this leadership full of hymns.
I wish we could.
Yeah.
I wish he wouldn't ever retire, but I know he has. So he's got to enjoy life.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for that opportunity whenever he chooses to retire. But I'm also going to be sad at the same time because it's going to kind of stink. But, that's part of life. People come and go, and, you gain as much as you can from them at the time, and you cherish those moments just like, relationships with anyone you have, girlfriends, whatever you might have. You take the good parts, and if it wasn't good at the end, you learn from it, and you make yourself a better person on every single interaction you have with them. And I'm thankful for when he does retire that I had a lot of good interactions with him, and I guarantee I'll still keep in touch with him.
I just struggle seeing him to retire.
No,
I can see him just picking back right up somewhere else.
I don't think after all the stuff he's been through, I think he's done completely with law enforcement. I personally do, but I could be wrong. I have no idea.
It just seems like that's him. Like he is a cop. He's a cop's cop.
Oh, he is.
Yeah, but everybody's got to retire. You can't do these jobs forever, man.
No.
Eventually, it's time to step aside and let the next generation come in, and hopefully, you have instilled enough good values in them that they'll be able to carry on, and they will. I mean, that's the thing. We always talk about, these new kids. What are we going to do with them?
Yeah,
well, guess what? They said the same crap about us.
I was going to say, I do that too on our department. I'm like, oh man, these guys are worthless. They just got out of the academy. They're new. They can't do anything, whatever it might be. But when it comes down to it, they're our brothers and sisters just like anyone else. And, they could be a possibility they would have to, be there to save our life. So,
yeah. Ultimately, it is our responsibility to train those people up.
Oh, yeah.
You
got to be good role models.
Yeah. Set a good example. And, I mean, every organization, regardless, police department, fire department, just regular corporate business, you need leadership at every level.
Oh,
It can't just be one guy at the top and then everybody just marching along following. You're not going to get anywhere that way. You're going to walk in a fucking circle.
Yeah, you got to lead from the front. So.
Yeah.
And that sums him up so much. Like, he's not a boss, he's a leader.
Oh, he is a leader.
Yeah. And it seems like those are harder and harder to find nowadays.
Yeah, once you get, I hate politics. There's so much gossip and everything else going on with politics. I hate it. And most of the time, there's nothing you can even do to change it. So people get so caught up in everything going on in the world and everything. And, I wish I could change it, but I can't. There's nothing I can do. I feel like once you get into the position that, Rick is in, you have to get into politics with, the city and everything else going on. So, that's the unfortunate part of being in that position, but I'm sure he wouldn't change it for the world, even though he's been through a lot this past 4.5, 5 years.
He's been through the fucking ringer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What, your friends, your family, girlfriend, if you have one that aren't in law enforcement, how did you calm them through all this?
That's a good question. So, my dad, I think, vicariously lives through me to an extent. He loves to hear all the stories that I went through, what I've seen, and what I've done, and everything else. And if he was here, I'd joke with him. But he used to tell me he used to be a Navy SEAL, and I used to call him out. And he was not a Navy SEAL, I'd say that. But just stuff like that. My mom gets really passionate when she hears stuff on the news and stuff about the chief and stuff like that going on in the city and everything else. My previous girlfriend, I'm thankful for her, but some people just don't understand what we do and the reason why we do it. And I wish they did. I wish they got, it's easy to sit there and armchair quarterback people on what they do and what they can't do, but I would really invite them to come out and do ride along, see what we do. If you're so easy to be able to tell us what we should and shouldn't do, then why don't you go out and apply and do the job? And I guarantee you would be like, oh man, I can't do this.
And the hard thing is, like, even a ride along won't really solve it. You just don't know unless you do it day in and day out.
Yeah.
It's hard to, like, people can live vicariously through us. We can tell them all the stories, all the TV shows, all the podcasts we make. And until you do it, until you smell the smells, feel the feels, you just don't get it.
No, I don't think anyone does. And, that's why I'm, thankful that even if it doesn't work out for me to come back to work, that, that I had this opportunity to be able to do this job, because I still do feel like this is the best job in the world. I'm sure that's how you guys feel too. I wouldn't change it for the world.
Yeah, except our job is actually the best job in the world.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, we're not going to get into that, so.
Oh, no, this is a red team, blue team thing.
All right. Well, if that's the case, then who has to clear the scene before you guys come in?
See, that's just smart on our part.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, you're our canary, so thanks.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. Yeah, go ahead and let fire know that the scene's safe. They can come in.
Yeah, see, the reason you are here is the reason we don't go in first. We're not stupid.
All right.
Like, oh, yeah, oh, that looks bad.
Yeah.
You good?
Yeah. We're going to be over here.
Nah, it's all right.
I guess, would you be willing, those like little golf carts to hand out the tickets? Would you do that?
Probably not.
I couldn't do it either.
No.
It's like a 3-wheeled golf cart. It's not even like a normal golf cart.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
It's like a little mini Pope mobile. They just hand out tickets.
Well, I mean, does it have spinning rims on it?
No.
No.
That'd be kind of cool.
That would be.
Tires.
I'm say ride it through the area I work in. I guarantee people love that.
It does have heat, though. I did ask about that one day. It does have heat. It's not air
That'd be
conditioning.
nice.
It has heat.
Well, I mean, who needs air conditioning?
Just get going fast enough.
Yeah.
No, I don't think you'd make a good meter maid.
I wouldn't.
No.
I wouldn't. I'd get in trouble.
Realistically, if you do not come back to the field in a law enforcement officer role, what would you want to do in the department if you had your choice?
That's a good question. I'd like to go to teach at the police academy. And it's funny because that's something that when I was going through the academy, I'll do this at the end of my career. That wasn't the hand I was dealt. Unfortunately, but stuff changes. Life changes. You can never plan a perfect life out for you. It comes in waves and it comes in, hills and valleys, and you just kind of have to go with the flow. And if something happens to you, you kind of got to adapt. I mean, life's all about adapting. Something could happen to me, and I can sit there and be upset about it, or I can change it and move on and get stronger from it, get better from it. So that's kind of what I want to do. I want to be able to teach the next generation how to be a police officer and why this job is the best in the world, because I still think it is. So if I got the pleasure to be able to do that, that'd be amazing. If not, then I'm sure that I could be a motivational speaker or find another job. I'm not gonna get into anything else, but I've actually been offered a job doing something else. But that's not what I'm focused on right now. My focus is trying to get back to work full time, and if I'm gonna let the department make that decision when the time comes and be like, hey, you can't make it back, but we have a job for you, and then I'll be like, okay, I'll take it, or I might not. I might do something else. I don't know yet.
Well, if it's meter maid, he's gonna be like, that son of a bitch.
Yeah, I was gonna say I would probably quit if that happened. So. Yeah.
Who put you up to this? Some guy named Moran. I'll wait for his application to come through at the fire department.
All right.
We'll be like, look, you finally made a good choice.
I actually got a buddy that works for you guys. Or a guy that I know. I guess he's not like a super good friend.
I like it. Nice one.
Well, okay then. Damn.
I wasn't even talking about you. I was talking about someone else.
Aw.
You know what, though? I mean, the value of teaching the next generation, like we talked about, I mean, that can be a huge impact.
Oh, yeah.
So.
And I'm up at the academy right now, like I said, and there was a class that just graduated, and just them being like, hey, you really inspired me to, want to be the best person I can and everything else. And, being able to tell them the experiences that I've been through that they're going to go through as well. Hopefully they don't get, shot in the head like me, but, it's a possibility. I just tell them, you just kind of got to take the training and, work as hard as you can, and just remember that there's more to this job than just the job. Because I feel like so many, you see it, I've seen it, police officers be on for 30 plus years, and then once they retire, they die within like 10 years because that's all that they know. And they don't do anything else besides be a police officer. So, it's kind of sucked that I've been off for this long, but it's also kind of been good because I've been able to see, that, this whole world isn't just about being a police officer. There's so much more to it. I met a lot of good people through church and, everything else. So it's been really good for me to be able to see that there's something else rather than law enforcement. So, and
we've talked about that a lot, and it's even something I've admitted I am worried about retirement and health 20 years from now, because I love my job. I'm happy with what I'm doing. It works. It's a routine. It's a lifestyle. And it just the desire to help. I don't know if that's ever going to go. I don't think it ever goes away from anybody.
I don't think it will.
But you can't wrap your whole identity up.
Yeah.
And I think that's where people start to get in trouble, especially with on the mental health aspect of it, is they are so involved in, I am a cop, or I am a firefighter. Well, yeah, you are, but you're also, like you've said, a husband, a father, a brother, a son. You're all of those things. Yeah. And if you throw all of that other stuff to the side.
Well, for him, he might be a wife too, but we don't know that.
Well, yeah. I like it.
Oh, okay.
I like it.
Okay, that's cool.
Yes.
That's cool.
Yeah. So, but yeah, you throw all that stuff to the side, and then that's whenever, you really start having those problems.
Oh, yeah.
And we see it every day. I'm sure you probably know police officers that are the same way, where it's all about the job 24/7.
Yeah, I feel like there's a kind of a stigma to mental health in both of our professions, that people don't want to address it because they feel like we're not, I'm too manly to be able to, admit that I'm going through emotional stuff and everything else. But, it is real and it is true, and I've been dealing with it, and I deal with it every day. It's getting better with medication and talking to people, but, it really does suck because I never thought I would deal with this. I've always been a very mentally strong person throughout my whole life until these past maybe like 3 or 4 months, and it's all kind of like coming on me at once. Like it's like a whole brick's been thrown on me at one time. But
that's usually how it works.
Oh yeah,
because typically it was probably building up before then.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
But the mentality of people that go into our professions is I have this, I'm the helper, I don't need help.
Yeah, exactly.
And we just ignore and override until it's so big that we can't ignore it anymore.
Yeah, I feel like it takes more of a man to be able to admit that they're going through, emotional stuff than just bottled up and be like, hey, I'm good. even talking to my friends, like, I'm like, hey man, I'm going through relationship stuff or emotional stuff or whatever it might be, but most of the people I talk to somewhat understand, but most people don't. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, you've never been shot in the head, you don't understand. Yes, they probably haven't been, but just for them to be able to understand a little bit of the emotional side of things would be amazing. But just some people will never understand what I've ever been through. Actually, probably not many people will ever understand what I've been through. But
you kind of brought up a point, and it's something I haven't really even talked with you about yet, but the idea of like, oh, we're too big and strong to worry about mental health, blah, blah, blah. Something I've always kind of thought, and I've been aware of it more the last month. It's been probably, a month since I've been back from Arizona and Mexico.
Yeah.
So I took a couple weeks off, took the bike down to Arizona and Mexico, had a blast.
Oh, I bet.
I think also finding the time to be aware of it is just as important as, like, A, admitting there's a problem, then B, finding the time to address the problem.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And, with us, like, working 24-hour shifts, you pick up an overtime shift, it's 48 hours, you're away from home, you're on high anxiety, the bell goes off any minute. It just, for me, it was finding the time to just kind of, if anything, at a basic level, just self-reflect.
Oh, yeah.
And I noticed it. I've noticed it just in the past month. I'm like, hi, how you doing? Again at work, just because.
Well, I'm going to tell you this, James, and, maybe it won't work for you. Maybe it will. I don't know. But you don't really have to find the time. The time is there. It's always there.
Make the time.
Yeah. But a lot of people have this idea that, oh, well, I need to set aside this like 2-hour block. No, it could be as little as 5 minutes.
Or you're taking a shit.
Yeah.
Like, it's funny as it is.
I mean, yeah.
It could be that time.
You're purging your bowels. You can purge your mind at the same time. But take 5 minutes off of TikTok and self-reflect. I know that's going to be, you have a problem. I'm just going to tell you that.
I love TikTok.
Yeah, I've talked about God so much during this, but that's been the biggest thing for me is my faith during this whole time, because in my eyes that's kind of what's got me through. I was saved for a reason, and I like to wake up every day in the morning, and I have this book. It's called Jesus Calling, and it has a story every day of the whole year. I like reading that every day and just kind of reflecting on things in my life and everything. Just thinking. I thank God for everything. Being able to walk, being able to talk, everything else. And I feel like I mentioned earlier, people take the littlest stuff in life for granted, and then they see someone that's going through, that has no legs or whatever it might be. Like tomorrow, I'm going to some adaptive workout, and you flip a coin, you draw a coin, and it tells you have no arms, you have no legs, so you have to work out like with no arms or no legs or whatever it might be. You have to do it. So, I like being able to, because I've seen when I was in Denver for rehab, I saw people like a lot worse than me, and I'm thankful.
And that's crazy. Like that's what's crazy too. Like you were shot in the head, and there's worse than you.
There's people that are going to be in wheelchairs their whole life.
Yeah.
At least I'm able to walk. So.
Well, and I think that's a really important mindset for recovery.
Oh, yeah.
Is being able to celebrate those victories.
Oh, yeah.
Because it is, like you said, it's the small things, the things that you take for granted of, hey, you know what? I was able to buckle my own belt today.
Yeah.
I could put my socks on today. I could put my shoes on today.
I struggle with that, and I haven't been shot in the head.
That's just because you're fat.
You're not wrong.
Like I told you earlier, stop me when I'm lying.
Now, even tying my shoes, that was one of the biggest victories for me when I was in rehab, being able, because my mom would sit over there and I put my shoes on and I can't do this, and she said she would say, you can do it, you're just not as good at it right now. You just have to keep working at it. So eventually, I can tie my shoes every day now. It's still I'm not as fast at it, but who cares if it takes me 5 minutes? Whatever. At least I can get it done. And even putting my shirt on, putting my, putting my buttons on my shirt and everything. And, that's a victory for me every day. Waking up's a victory every day to me. I could care less.
And I like that you are so aware of your faith as well, because science says you should be dead.
Yeah.
So when science says that, why are you here?
Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if not for God.
And that's what I spoke at some women's in law enforcement thing last Friday, and I have a little video that church made me, and after watching the video,
I loved that video, by the way.
Yeah. So after watching the video, I was like, if you don't believe in God, I don't know how you. After watching this video, I don't know how you can't believe in God, because there are miracles, and I truly believe I was a miracle. Not just saying that to say it, but I truly believe I am, and just talking to all of them and telling them what I've been through and everything else, and at the end, I like it to be interactive. So I'm like, hey, if you guys have any questions, feel free to raise your hand. So it was good on that part where we got to talk, and one of the girls that was there said I needed to be sponsored by Kleenex because everyone was crying and everything. And I was like, oh man, that's pretty cool. I might try to do that. So, but no, just stuff like that. And my department's making me a video, another one, which is going to be more powerful because it's going to be like interviews of, my major at the time, Doug, my partner, the chief, and just people that were involved in everything. That's going to be more powerful. Doctors interviews, stuff like that. So.
I'd reach out to like the bullet manufacturer too, like, hey, your rounds are shit. Still here.
Still in my head.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
oh,
it is.
shit.
Yeah.
They just said, yeah, we're gonna leave that one alone.
I guarantee you the first thing that happened when he got wheeled into the ER unresponsive with a bullet in his head was somebody said, does he have a tetanus shot? Guarantee it. Guarantee every ER nurse watching that and be like, yeah, shit, we probably did ask that.
So did they tell you why they haven't removed it? Is it because it would cause more damage, or?
I think so. From what I've been told a little bit, I mean, I could be wrong, but I think the impact it made wasn't super detrimental. Besides, almost killing me. But so
yeah, it's just
So the shot went in and fractured my skull in 3 places. So I have, I think, 3 plates and 12 metal screws in my head. And I think what it was is there was no reason to take it out because it wasn't, detrimentally affecting everything. So they're just going to keep it in. I just can't have MRIs the rest of my life, which I don't really care about. So.
Well, yeah.
That's a quick way to get it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who knows where it might come out, too.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Is it moved at all?
I don't think so. So.
Where is it now?
It's kind of in the middle of my head somewhere. Like, somewhere in here. I have no idea, but... I have no idea.
That's crazy.
It's kind of a cool story,
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, you know what? Hello, my name is Tyler Moss, and I have a bullet in my head. How are you doing? Just being able to people to tell that, like, what the heck? What did this guy go through?
That's the ultimate like scar story.
Yeah.
Hey, where'd you get that? Got shot in the head.
I'm still here.
Still standing.
What's up? What's up, baby?
That's when he said he did the women in law enforcement. I was like, that's like shooting fish in a barrel. That's not even fair.
Nah, I can never date another police officer, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, I just couldn't. It's just someone that you work with. I just don't.
That's fair.
Find. There's attractive.
There's lots of
females that
suburban cops around here.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, you can go out and venture out in the suburbs.
Yeah, I just don't. I'm not trying to have a relationship for a long time. Honestly, I know you never know where God's gonna, what people are gonna come in your life. But at this time, right now, I'm just focusing on myself. I don't want anyone else for a while. I say that, but I don't know who's gonna be the next person gonna come along. But I'm gonna work on myself as long as I can and make myself the best person I can before I give myself out to someone else.
That's literally the best way to go about it too.
Oh yeah.
It's because all you're going to do now is just take something fractured and fuck it up.
Oh yeah.
Like,
plus it can be on my terms, and when I say that, I mean, like, I could be like, hey, these are some of the limitations I have. This is what I'm going through. You either can accept it or not, and if you don't accept it, then we're just not going to be in a relationship. We're not going to talk. So at least it can be on my terms.
yeah, like you're gonna have to tie my shoes every day.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that, but stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's, you're saving yourself a whole lot of headache. No pun intended.
That's
true,
just no, that's
Wow.
true.
What? He's got a bullet in his head.
So you don't have to point it out.
I'm not. I can't see it.
Wrong, Moran.
What?
He's just so wrong.
What? He was coming on a show with 2 firefighters. I don't care what happened to him. He's still standing. He is back open for jokes.
I'm good with that. I don't care.
Well, I expect your A game, and that was C plus at best.
Okay.
Hey, I've been holding back a little bit.
I ain't seen you in like 2 weeks either.
I know. I've been busy.
Oh, okay. That's what you always say.
Yeah. Sitting on my couch, waiting for my phone to ring. It hasn't.
Have you kept up with your partner from that day?
Oh yeah.
That's your deal.
Yeah, we were in I was in his wedding, and we still talk once a week or so. We're in a group text together with everyone at work, and we like to give people a hard time, and that's fun. I have to mute myself from that message group because it's just constant all day long. And I'll look at it, and then I'll look at it once a day. It'll be like 150 messages.
Oh, shit.
So most of the time I just delete it and just start over because I don't feel like looking at it. It's just a bunch of drama. I don't want to look at that. I don't need that in my life.
That's fair.
Yeah, we have a group text for the podcast.
Oh,
and
really?
it's just me and the other guy, and he never chimes in. Even though you ask him a direct question, still never responds to the group text.
They get old.
Yeah, I agree.
They just, because if you miss it for like a couple hours, you're like, oh, let me scroll for an hour to see where I missed off.
Yep.
I hate it.
Oh, I do too.
It's always an excuse with you, James.
That's fair. See, if I was him, I'd be terrible. Because I'd be like, sorry, can't do that. I got shot in the head. Nope, can't do that either. Got shot in the head. Sorry, got shot in the head. Can't do that.
Yeah, you know what? And it technically is an excuse, but I don't like to use excuses. I like to, be the person that's people see that is going to persevere and be like, not hold up. Hey, you know what? I can't do that because I got shot, or I can't do this. No, I want to be the person that can do it. There's this guy that I look up to, and he was on. I think he had a Netflix video, and it was his name's Chris Norton. I don't know if you've heard of him, but it was a Chris Norton. It was like 7 Yard or something like that on Netflix. But this guy had a spinal cord injury after a football game, and just he's a motivational speaker now. And just hearing his attitude and everything else, and I'm like, I want to be like that guy because he said they gave me a 99% chance to not walk. And he's still in a wheelchair, but he can like somewhat walk with assistance. But he, his attitude was like, so you're saying there's still 1% chance, and that's what I want to live like too.
There was a friend of mine I played football with in college. He was our quarterback, and had a real bad weightlifting accident. Had some weight came down, and broke his back. And God, that was 2010, 2011, so 10 plus years ago.
Wow.
And he's still in a wheelchair, but played wheelchair basketball at Mizzou. And
That's awesome.
On the Paralympics team, and he kicks ass. Like,
Yeah, that's awesome.
he got a smoking wife, and I'm just like, that's the way to go.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he just
Well, ultimately it boils down to your personality and, your values.
Yeah.
So some people will look as something like that. They look at obstacles as a reason not to do things or an excuse.
Yeah.
And then some people, you have an obstacle put in front of you and you're like, okay, I see the
Jumping over
challenge.
that.
I'm
Yeah.
going to meet it.
Oh yeah.
And, I think that's probably the best way to go through life.
Yeah. I wish I had life figured out, but no one does. And just being able to talk to certain people like my dad and people that Doug and stuff like that have been on for a while, just be able to get their perspective on life and kind of I feel like that's kind of how life works. You see someone talk about something and you grab a little bit from them, and then someone else says something else, and then you kind of grab it and you kind of mold it into exactly how you feel and what your beliefs are on certain stuff. So that's kind of what I've been doing for life in general.
What any new hobbies you've picked up since?
No. So it's kind of funny because I'm sure that if my doctor, psychologist will listen to this, she's gonna be like, "Oh, I want you to, whittle," or I can't remember what she said, but like, you use your left hand and do some like wood carving and stuff. And I'm sure eventually she'll listen to this and probably laugh, but maybe I'll get into that, Jenny, eventually. So, just I don't know. I like working out. I like staying fit. Everything else. I'm at a point now where I'm trying to put everything really good in my body because, to be honest, I don't know how long I'm going to live. I still have a bullet in my head, like I said. I mean, I could die tomorrow for all I know. So I take one day at a time, and I appreciate the days that I have. And like I mentioned earlier, with me having that seizure a couple weeks back, and, that could have been a very depressing time. And I was at the hospital, and Mom's like, I've never seen you like that. Like, just because I was so amped up. The first seizure I had, I was the complete opposite, where I was like super like, down, or maybe not down, but just kind of
lethargic. Yeah,
lethargic. And this time, I don't know if it was the pre-workout or whatever I was on, but I was super. I was
a
super
little
amped.
Andro bull rush or something.
I was super amped up, and I was just happy. I mean, it sucked what happened, but I was.
So I'm gonna
happy
start
then.
giving them my seizure patients in the field, like, here, take some pre-workout.
Yeah. Nitroflex, that's the shit.
It was funny because thank God when I had a seizure, it was I was mid squat on my last set, and this is no joke. And I was coming up, I started feeling weird, and I just like dropped and fell on the left side of my head. Luckily, it wasn't the right side of my head. It was on the left side of my head, and I remember I legit had an out of body experience, and I'm not kidding. So I remember I remember feeling the seizure. I remember people, coming up behind me and saying a bunch of stuff, and I don't remember getting flipped over on my side, but apparently there was a male nurse there. Thank God, that was able to do that, knew what to do. And I remember hearing people say, "Hey, get the AED" and stuff like that. And I remember my dad being there, and he was like, "No," he's like, he got shot in the head. Like, we're not going to do that. He's coming out of it and everything else, which I was coming out of at the time. But I felt like I came out of my body, and I saw everyone looking around, and I was like, I'm not going to die from a seizure if I didn't die from getting shot in the head. That's literally what I thought. I was like, there's no way that's going to happen. So I came back in. I was like, man, that was insane. I legit had an out-of-body experience. I can't explain why. I just felt like I wasn't meant to die that day, obviously, just like I wasn't meant to die when I got shot in the head on July 2nd of 2020. And it's just crazy. So, I mean,
it's going to be one of the dumbest things to take you out one day, too. Like, it'd be like survive getting shot in the head, knocked off a cliff by a bird, like something stupid that just like...
I hope not. I hope I live for a long time,
Yeah.
but you never know.
Why would you put that out there?
It's probably going to be years and years from now, but still, it's just going to be like all the things he survived, and then it's like...
You know what? I'm just not going to go to anywhere where there's mountains.
Yeah.
So I don't have to worry about that.
I was almost expecting you to, when I said new hobby, like, I do extreme mountain biking now.
No.
Like, of course he does.
Yeah.
No, I don't
Wingsuit, base jumping.
Yeah.
I don't do anything that kind of puts myself in a situation where I can get hurt. I mean, I still don't care. Like, for the most part, I have no fear. But, like I used to do a bunch of stuff before I got shot, skydiving and stuff like that. And now I'm just kind of, maybe I don't want to do that anymore. I mean, I still would, but,
I feel like getting shot's the pinnacle of adrenaline.
Yeah,
like,
I think so. Well, I don't remember anything, but I'm sure it was at the time. But just, and that's the thing is, life's too short, and I'm not going to not do stuff because of what I've been through. I still want to do stuff that people, want to do. Like, I still want to go out and, do the craziest things. I want to go hiking. I want to do stuff like that, but I'm not going to hold myself back because of what I've been through. That's an excuse, and I don't take excuses.
We'll get you a helmet. Jeremy and I will both sign it.
No, that's actually funny because I had a couple people in my department and my previous girlfriend, because she was supportive about me going back to work, and she's like, "Hey, can you wear a helmet for everything you can do?" And I was like, yeah, I don't think that's going to work out. I was like, I'm not going to wear a helmet on every single call I go on. Regardless, it didn't save me. It wouldn't save me from getting shot in the face anyway, because it happened right to the right of my right eye. So theoretically, that wouldn't happen. So
Well, the full face shield.
yeah, it's like plastic that would have gone right through. That probably would have been worse.
Well, no,
We'll get him one of those
EOD guys.
EOD suits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm gonna wear that. When
Just
it's,
go
when it's
waddling up on calls.
Yeah,
And
when it's 100 degrees, I'm gonna wear that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it sounds like a great time.
it's a great weight loss program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seeing a foot chase in that.
And then,
Moran could get away from you then.
hey, but then when you catch him, then you could sit there and be, hey, you got caught by some dude in an EOD suit. What do you have to say about that? And then they have nothing to say. They can't say anything.
That's how I feel like if I got pulled over with you, like in a helmet, like, hey, license registration, like, no, what are you going to do? Like, you're in a helmet. Like, I'm not taking you seriously now.
I take the helmet off and hit him in the head with it.
Did you discharge your weapon? No, I discharged my fucking helmet.
God damn it, Tyler.
Got Tyler's 5th excessive use of force with his helmet this week.
I actually haven't had one excessive use of force.
It's because you haven't had a helmet.
Yeah, it's true. That is true.
It's real convenient to just
Yeah.
boom.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. Have you been back by that McDonald's?
Yeah, multiple times. Yeah, I didn't
Would
feel
bother you at
anything.
all?
No. So I went back where it happened to. I remember my mom, my dad, and my
That's
sister.
not just an area you just go cruising through either.
Yeah, no, it's not. But we went by there because we went the back way to the Royals game over the summer, and we drove by actually where I got shot. And I was like, "Hey," you want to stop by there? And they're like, "No," just because I don't really care. I want to stop by there and like walk around. Sounds weird, but I did.
I'm curious. You don't remember anything.
Curious. I want to conquer my fears because I'm not going to let. And for me, I feel like being a Christian is forgiving. And, I don't know the dude that shot me, and I don't really care who he is. But, I forgive him. He's probably had mental health problems or whatever he might have. But, he probably didn't know what he was doing. He's probably high on drugs, wherever it might be. But, in all reality, I'm not going to let him get the best of me because he's 1,000 feet under the ground, and I'm still above him. And, I can sit up and smile, and he can't because he's dead. And that's just kind of the way I feel about it.
So I'll ask you this, and this is probably a hard question. Are you more at peace, more mentally strong, more mentally sound, knowing he's dead? Like, if you had to go through a trial and go through everything else, how would you feel?
So I hate to wish anyone that it dies, but I feel like if you shoot a police officer, you don't deserve to be living, and I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
Like, you don't. So I'm thankful that he is because I do not want to go through trial and deal with him. I feel like I would be more mentally messed up if I had to face him because I'd probably be really mad and be like, hey, this is what you did to me and blah, blah. I don't have to worry about that because I know officers when I was in Denver for rehab. I mean, there was officers there that got shot and the guy didn't die that shot him, and they got to deal with going to court and everything else with them. And then if they plead mentally insane, then they can't incompetent for trial, then they can't go to trial, which is a bunch of BS in my opinion because they're mentally not insane because they knew what they were doing that day. So those officers have to deal with that. I'm thankfully I don't have to deal with that.
Yeah, that's what I wondered, and I know it seems shitty to clearly wish somebody dead, but at the same time, it's a whole lot of stuff you don't have to go through now.
No, yeah, I don't want to deal with that. So I'm thankful for that part.
And knowing the way our system is set up too, it probably wouldn't have even been the outcome you wanted.
No, he probably would have gotten like a month.
Yeah, we're gonna need you to go clean up the blood. How about that? Thanks.
Yeah, but no, it is what it is. He deserved what he got, and I'm thankful for that. And I'm reading this book. It's called, I can't remember what it's called, but Phil Hopper wrote it, and he's a pastor at Abundant Life. They're the ones that showed my video, and he calls it putting on the full armor of God. And I feel like that's what I put on every day. I strap myself in. I'm ready for the day. I'm ready to conquer, whatever anyone brings me, whatever the devil is trying to get after me and everything else. And, I'm fully equipped for anything that comes at me now. Because I feel like what I've been through, I feel like I can conquer anything now to an extent. So, no one can get the best of me is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I mean, in your career, you have reached the summit of bad shit that could happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, luckily, I'm glad you're here.
Oh, yeah, so am I. Oh, yeah, so am I.
But at the same time, too, like, it just for the same reason, too, that the guy that shot you is not here, and there's peace of mind in that. It's for your family, there's peace of mind that you are here.
Oh, yeah. And I think that's what...
Because and so often we see it's vice versa.
Yeah.
The guy that does the shooting is still alive, and the cop is dead.
Oh, yeah. And I think that's, I have a closer relationship with one God, one friends, one my parents, just from what I've been through. My parents and I were always super close, but we've become a lot closer now after this. And I think they're just happy for me to even be able to be here and be able to, like I had a seizure, like I mentioned a couple times during this a couple weeks back, and I can't drive for 6 months. And I necessarily don't think they care because they're just happy that I'm here. And I don't think they have a problem driving me to and from places, which I'm thankful for that. Some people might, get mad about that, but they don't care. It's their job. They would do anything for their kid, just like eventually when I have kids, I would do anything for my son or daughter in the future, and my future wife or whoever it might be. So they don't have a problem doing that.
And that's a nice thing too, is you're not like, if that's the most dependent thing you have on them, thank God you're not getting fed every day. They don't have to clean you every day. Because we've seen it so often, just especially at the fire department on the medical side, we run that so often, and it's heartbreaking.
Yeah, I'm pretty. I'd say I'm 99.9% fully functional. I mean, I can take care of myself. Obviously, I can put my clothes on now, cook my own food, and everything else. But I feel like it's also normal to ask for help. Like I mentioned earlier about the mental health thing. It's normal to ask for help from people. Just because you can't do something or you're not as good at something, go ask. Don't feel bad about asking for help for something. If you feel like you need help, that's what people are there to do. They're there to help you out.
Well, and you're right, because so often, and I think it's just a natural response to a lot of us, like, even if somebody trips and falls, hey, you good? Need anything? All right, see you later. Like, and we just throw it out there. And while we would do anything, when somebody does kind of ask for help, we're like, oh, yeah, okay,
yeah,
cool. Like, it's just,
well, we've run those calls with the elderly people that they've been laying on their floor for 6 hours. Just they didn't want to call and be a bother. And now they're way worse off than if they would have just called
at that time.
At the beginning.
And like clockwork, the very next call you'll run every time is somebody with like toe pain for 10 minutes. You'll have the sweet old lady that's like, oh, I just thought I'd make it. I didn't want to bother you guys. How long you been on the floor? A week? Oh my God.
Yeah.
The next one's like, yeah, my toe has been hurting for 10 minutes. And it just like, inside you just want to punch them because you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, but when it comes down to it, it's your job. You still got to go to it and, try to treat everyone the same. Sometimes it's harder, to do that for certain people, but you still have to. We took an oath to serve and protect the city and the citizens, and that's kind of what you just have to deal with every day. So
well, I even feel bad for like the officers that were with you that day, the one that was over you and returned fire on the suspect, the one that hauled ass to the hospital for you. Like, you were lucky. They had to go back to work the next day.
Yeah,
and like how do you?
It would be really hard for me to do that. Like, I remember my partner, and he was like, because I didn't remember anything, so I called him up when I was at rehab. I was like, hey, man, you remember everything from it? It's like, dude, I remember every single thing from that call. And for him to go through what he went through, to see his partner get shot and then have to, physically be with me in the squad car on the way to the hospital and see me, bloodied up and everything else. That was probably, talk about traumatizing. That was super traumatizing. I can only imagine. So, and even the female officer that was in the car holding my head, I'm sure that was very traumatizing, but and I still talk to her, and I feel like people see her and they're like, oh, she's fine. She can come back to, why isn't she back to work? But, she's been through a lot, and people don't understand what she's been through and what she's seen. And if she doesn't want to come back to work, then she doesn't have to come back to work. And sometimes, it's just not meant for certain people. And, for someone else to, armchair quarterback her and tell her what she shouldn't do
you come do
wrong.
It.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, not even about that, just about the mental part of it. You didn't see what she had to do. She probably deals with those demons every day. It's probably survivor's guilt. She's probably like, oh man, why wasn't her? I don't know what she's thinking, but she's going through a lot of stuff, and people are so quick to say, oh, well, she's fine, she can walk and do everything else, but you don't know what she's going. You don't know the demons that she's going through every single day. Just like
literally, out of everybody involved with that incident, you arguably might be the one that got off the luckiest.
Probably.
When you truly break it down and think about it,
yeah,
you have the benefit of not remembering a goddamn thing that day.
Oh yeah, and everyone else remembers everything.
Yeah, and how crazy is that to say? Like, I'm just gonna take a nap for a few days and get this bullet healed, and then be right back. And meanwhile, while you're just taking a nap, everybody else is going through that and then going back to work.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and I like I mentioned earlier, I talked to my partner. He's like, yeah, man. He's like, I don't know why. He's like, the one thing I did think about, he's like, I don't know why I didn't walk around the corner first. And I was like, dude, you can't think that way. It just happened. It was meant to happen to me. And, you know, I'm going to make the best out of it. And it wasn't, you were meant to get shot. And personally, I didn't tell him this, but if he watches this, you know, I'm glad that it did happen to me, because I would be super messed up from watching him go through that and dealing with that, because, I mean, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see any other police officer. You know, I get somewhat emotional even when I see any police officer around the whole entire United States get killed or shot or whatever it might be.
And you guys had, and here's the thing I think a lot of people forget about that day. You weren't the first cop shot.
I know.
Like, that's what's... So you guys, I mean, you're already just on running here.
Oh, yeah.
Or here throughout the day, and it's just... God bless their hearts for having to deal with that.
I remember Doug was telling me, he told me a story after he was at his house, and, you know, he got the call that, you know, one of his officers was shot, and he's like, it was Moss. He's like, which Moss? I have two Mosses. Like, which one was it? And he ended up saying it was me. And he told me a story of, because he came in our roll call that day before work, before we went out and loaded our car up. And he asked, hey, how are you guys doing? And I remember he told me stories like, he's like, I looked at you, Moss. I said, hey, Moss, how you doing? He's like, I'm good. Just because I was just, you know, just calm, cool, as collected. You know, I didn't expect for me to get shot that day. You know, no one expects for them to get shot.
Let me just throw this in my calendar here.
Probably would have taken a vacation day.
Yeah. Well, I probably would have used my first sick day I've ever used. So.
Yeah, and that's something, you know, we focus so many times on the show about the individual, but I think it'd just be just as beneficial to get, you know, all the officers that were there with you that day. Because like I said, it is as bad as it sounds. You were shielded the most.
Yeah. You know, it's something to think about and talk about is, you know, incidents like this, you know, whether it's, you know, you getting shot or, you know, a firefighter getting hurt at a house fire or, you know, some kind of traumatic event that happens in our professions. It's not just the person affected. It's all the other crews that were on the scene, all the other officers that were around. Their family members. I mean, you can exponentially carry that out until it's like we were talking about the other day with the whole, you know, house suicide. If it doesn't just affect that one person,
it affects a lot of people.
It affects a lot of people, and it's a daisy chain.
Oh yeah,
and just go down the line, and it affects everyone differently to a different degree. You know, the people that were standing right there, it's going to affect them one way, and then, you know, the people down the line, affects them differently. So, but it is something definitely to think about, and it's worth discussing.
Oh yeah, and you know, that's kind of why I'm trying to get into, you know, public speaking and motivational speaking, because I don't have life figured out. No one does, but you know, I feel like I have a lot of good, I guess, advice when it comes to going through or conquering adversity and conquering your fears and everything else. I mean, like I mentioned 3 or 4 times already, like I went back to the same gym today that I had my seizure at, and I did the same exact workout that I did not finish 3 or 4 weeks ago, because I wanted to conquer that and I wanted to get that done. And I did, and I felt great about it. And I want people to try to have that same mindset. Some people will never have that mindset, but I want to try to be able to inspire them to have that mindset.
I mean, you're doing everything right. I mean, and you can ask Jeremy, we've had conversations, we've had people on the show that get it. Yeah. You know, you, Doug, Darren, we had Dr. Haas, like, they get it. Yeah. And then we've had others that, while they are love to be here and they have great stories to tell, you know, we've looked after the episodes and just kind of been like, they're not there yet.
Yeah.
And it's not like, you know, you're there, like, you can just stop.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, hey, you're good, just take a break. It's
well, I think that's the thing is it never stops.
No,
it's
stuff you struggle with every day. I still struggle with, you know, anxiety and little depression every single day, but it's getting better with talking with people. And I mean, even being here talking about it, my mom's like, do you want to talk about this? And I was like, oh, it's easy to talk about something you don't remember. I mean, it is. I'm like, I don't remember anything. I can talk about this all day. Just like, she's like, well, I think, you know, if you go into motivational speaking, you might get tired of talking about it. And I was like, I don't remember anything. I was like, I can talk about this all the time.
It's my story.
Yeah, it's my story, and it's still being written. You know, every single day it's being written. There's a new page every day. Stuff I go through, stuff I conquer every day, and you know, it's going to continue to be written. Where eventually I'm going to grow old and, you know, have a wife and kids, which I'm, you know, very excited for that to happen, whoever that might be.
Bless their poor souls.
Yeah, no, I know. But no, I'm excited to have kids. I'm excited to get married forever. Whoever God puts in my life, and I'm excited to be able to share that with that person, and have kids and grow old together, and just kind of just be there for people for the rest of my life, whether it be being a police officer or whether it be some other job or whatever it might be. I know there's a plan for me, like I've said, so I'm excited for that opportunity whenever it comes.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm glad we had you on.
Oh yeah, so am I.
This is, and it's just it's interesting, like picking your brain apart. But
Whoa,
especially
easy.
That's another one. That's another
yeah.
one.
Well,
come on, man.
I hate you guys. But no, just the discussion, especially, I think it gives a fantastic perspective because you don't remember it.
Yeah.
Like we're just starting with you at chapter 3.
Yeah.
You know. Like,
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing for me is, you know, your outlook and perspective, you know, and I think it's so important, and it's so refreshing,
Yeah.
you know, and it's, yeah, shitty thing happened. Guess what? I'm still here,
I'm better.
and I'm still moving forward.
Yeah, I'm the new, you know, like I say, I'm Tyler 2.0 now. You know, I was Tyler 1.0 before, and
it's just because you got a bunch of metal in you.
no, but you know, I was at the best of my life before I got shot, and you know, I kind of went down in the dumps after it happened, but I'm slowly starting to crawl my way out with God and with talking to people and everything else, and you know, I am Tyler 2.0 now, and I have 2 birthdays now. July 2nd of every year is my 2nd birthday. I mean, that's the anniversary. Last year I had a huge party at my parents' house. Got to invite everyone out that was involved in the incident, and I'm thankful that people came out and be able to celebrate that day with me. You know, my worst day of my life, but it was also the best day of my life, and to an extent. I mean, I don't know, like, it's funny because I physically, I can't cry. Like, I literally can't. Like, it sounds bad, but, you know, I think, and it did, the bullet did affect my emotions and everything. So, I mean, I'm emotional, but I'm not, like, crying emotional. Like, I can sit here and, like, it was weird. Like, my grandpa was such a big part of my life. I couldn't cry. I don't know why. Like, he's such a big part of my life, and I know he's watching over me right now from heaven, but it was just hard to cry, and I try to, but I can't. It's just crazy. I just can't do it. But I show emotions, but it's on a different level. Yeah. So.
Do you still feel? And that's an interesting point talking about that. Like, is Tyler 2.0 a limited version of himself, or is he an unlimited version of himself?
I mean, I like to think I'm unlimited, but, you know, might be limited in some eyes, but in all reality, I don't really care what they think, you know, because I'm a new person, and I'm a better version of myself than I was before. And, I mean, everyone's got a story. Some are bigger than others. Mine might be bigger than others, but, you know, everyone's got a story. Something traumatic that they've been through has grown and molded them into the person that they are today. And for me, you know, whoever's, I guess, not a believer in Christ, I wish that they did see him, because he gets you through a lot of stuff, and he continues to get me through a lot of stuff. And, you know, I praise him every day. And, in all reality, I can, you know, owe it to, you know, my partner and the sergeant that drove me to the hospital and everything else. But, you know, and honestly, in all of God's glory, it was him. He saved me that day, and he saved me my whole life. I mean, he died for us, and I'm thankful for everything he's done in the past. Because, I mean, eventually one day, I mean, I want to be the best person I can, so I can, you know, reach that holy place and be with him when I'm taken off this earth. Hopefully not anytime soon, but eventually.
I'd literally look at him and be like, hey, nice to see you, but let's talk about this.
Yeah, and you know what? And that's another thing is, I don't know why it happened to me. Like, and that's another thing. I could be very upset and, mad and be like, oh, why me? Why
And
this?
be very justified in that
Yeah,
feeling.
exactly. And people be like, I understand, but that's not who I am. I'm going to overcome that, and I'm going to make the crappiest situation the best situation I can. And that's what I'm trying to inspire people to do, because you're going to be dealt some of the worst cards ever. And, what are you going to do with those cards? Are you going to throw them away and just, pout and cry like a lot of people would? Or are you going to make something better out of it and do something better? So that's why I want people to be able to do that.
Well, it's the thing of people going, well, why me? Well, where does that get you? If
Nowhere.
you're just sitting there,
Pity parties get you nowhere.
yeah,
It gets you nowhere.
get you stuck in the mud, buried in the sand,
Yep.
whatever. It's like Moran's driving off road.
That's fair. But like when you say that, it does resonate, especially very heavily between Jeremy and I. Clearly not near to the the problem you had, but like after the death of my mom, and how many times do we see kids that we interact with, especially you guys probably more than us, a death of a parent, death of a loved one, it sends them, especially in youth, it just sends them down a dark path.
Oh, yeah.
And you see more and more interactions with law enforcement. It's one of those things. It's like you can either eat the shit sandwich and make it as good as you can, or just coward and hide and make bad decisions. And after dealing with your addiction and everything, I can either use this platform to do better, or I can continue to hide behind it. And it's the same with you. Like, hey, I didn't ask to get shot in the head, but I did.
No. Yeah.
So here's what we're going to do about it. And
Yeah.
we're not going to hide. We're not going to have a pity party. We're going to inspire others. And if there's one other person that you can set that example for, that if a bad, terrible thing happens to them, they're like, well, if Moss can do it, I can do it.
Yeah, and
Then it's successful.
It was funny because that video they did at Abundant Life, a couple guys I work with, like, yeah, man, that's really good. But what you pretty much said is, if this happened to me, what I've been through, then you can get over your little crap that you're going through, because look what I've been through and I've gotten over it. And if you, but it could be the biggest thing in their life, something's the smallest thing for someone could be the biggest thing in their life. Just because I had something super traumatic happen to me doesn't make my situation less than yours, because like I said, it could be the biggest thing for them. I don't want that pity party for myself.
It's about perspective.
Exactly.
And we run that as police officers and firefighters every day. Whenever we run calls, it's the biggest thing that's ever happened in their life, whether it's the 2 a.m. toe pain or, they got their hand chopped off in a horrible meat cleaver accident.
Yeah.
But it's about perspective.
Yeah.
Because, in case you guys didn't know, you're the center of your own world.
Yeah.
And everything revolves around you, because we all have an ego, and that's how everybody thinks. So.
Yep. Well, brother, thank you so much for coming on today.
No, anytime.
It's been a blast. You're always welcome back.
All right. Yeah,
I'd like to get you and Doug on here at the same time. I think
that would be actually you should try to make that happen. I would be down for that.
That'd be a blast.
He's a busy man. He got promoted, but he would be down to do that. I guarantee it.
Oh yeah, he's like assistant king shit now.
Yeah.
He's been on since then.
DC, Deputy Chief D.
Oh yeah, he has been on since then.
He's been on for a while.
That's right.
Well, he's been on the show since then.
Oh,
Since he got promoted, yeah.
Yeah, we did an episode with him and his brother.
Okay.
And he's like,
I bet that was fun.
It was pretty good.
I'll send the links to you. Having Darren on was a blast. He's fucking hoot.
I'm sure they were giving each other a hard time.
Not as much as I
Really?
anticipated. Yeah.
No,
it was.
I would have expected Darren to be the instigator. If anything, it was Doug.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
It was really. I expected a little bit more back and forth.
Yeah.
Whenever they were both on, but it was a really good episode.
Yeah.
But it was more serious than.
That's good.
It was still.
We didn't expect it to. Like, we were expecting this, as he says, red team, blue team. That's his thing.
Yeah.
Really, it was more just perspective of each other's incidents and things they've went through.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be a fantastic episode.
It's good.
So.
Yeah. All right. Well, Like we end every episode, if you are struggling, there are resources out there. Reach out. If you know somebody that is struggling, let them know that you care. Let them know what the resources are. Yeah, and Tyler, thanks for coming on the show. We really appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, no problem. I had a blast. And like what he was saying, if you do need help with something, seek that help before it is too late, because eventually it will be too late and it's going to be too overwhelming for you to even be able to deal with. So you need to address it when you can, when that comes up.
All right. Appreciate it. Moran, well, you were here.